Telling you Governor JB Pritzker will officially announce he is running for another term.
It would be a third term as Illinois governor if he wins. The potentially historic move comes as speculation continues to swirl about a potential presidential bid for Pritzker in 2028.
Yep. Former Illinois Republican Party Chair Pat Brady joining us live to unpack what this might mean for, well, lots of things, including a field of candidates who might challenge him. Good morning.
Good morning. You believe that's 8 years he's already been in? That went by fast.
I know, life just goes by fast.
Not everyone thinks that, I don't think.
Well,
no, but I mean, my guy's going to his third term, which is historic.
Right, because only Big Jim Thompson has ever served
four.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of risk in third term.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it cannot go well, but it's an exciting, I mean, it's very exciting for him because he's announcing for governor, which made national news because of his presidential aspirations. So it'll be interesting to see what he says in his speeches today. Is he going to talk about his accomplishments in a broader framework, meaning these are the things I did in Illinois, the things that we should do in the country, or is it going to be more centered towards Illinois? So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say.
Well, that's a good point, because some of his speeches are very national in tone and some are not. So, you know,
I suspect it'll be a mix, because when you look at what he has done, and if you're a Democrat, kind of the left side of the Democratic ledger, and say the 13 or 14 things he ran on, he accomplished. I mean, he's got a lot he can talk about that fits perfectly into the Democratic lane of people that are actually where the energy is, you know, energy policy, criminal justice reform, a whole list of things. He got a lot done, at least compared to what he said he was going to do in his 8 years. So that's probably what he'll talk about.
And one of the luxuries politicians have is they can run for governor, and it doesn't impede their ability to possibly still run for president. This is not an either or. It's not as though today signals he's not going to run for the White House.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's kind of two schools of thought on that. One, it's better to run as a current chief executive when you're running to be the chief executive. But the other theory is it's very risky because there's a lot of things that could potentially blow up that he's going to, you know, wear the jacket for here in Illinois. Budgetary issues, if there's some big crime issue or things like that. So there is some risk to it, and that was kind of the discussion everybody's been having the last 4 or 5 months, what he was going to do. But it'll be interesting to see exactly what he says today.
So I have a question, though. Do you think any Dems will challenge him? And what about the Republican challengers? Who might they be this time around?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get any Democratic challengers. I mean, Governor Pritzker his team have been very good about building a very good organization. We spoke just 4 or 5 weeks ago about the bloodbath the Democrats put on the Republicans in the municipal elections. But there are some people I think that will emerge on the Republican side. Aaron Del Mar, the Cook County chairman's talking about it. I think Richard Porter, the former national committeeman, Sheriff Mentrick's out of DuPage has already announced. But
what about LaHood?
No, I mean, he's throwing it out there, but Congressman LaHood, Darren's got a pretty good spot in Congress. He's on Intel, he's on Ways and Means. He's really become a national figure. I kind of doubt that. I mean, the reality is it's an uphill climb at this point for anybody. To be Governor Pritzker.
But do you think, so I was going to ask you that, do you think the political climate has changed at all in Illinois where it might be a tougher race for him this time around?
I don't think it'll be a tougher race just given the infrastructure he has and the resources he has, but I do believe that the climate has changed somewhat. You saw what happened here in Cook County. We elected Eileen Burke running on basically a law and order platform, which 8 years ago probably was unheard of. I think the pendulum is a little bit coming back against the kind of Brandon Johnson, Kim Foxx approach to government, and there are opportunities for Republicans. I just think the governor is he's a steamroller. He's got a lot of money and an organization. And I said this 8 years ago when we first announced to my Rauner buddies, hey, don't underestimate him as a candidate. I listened to a couple of his interviews. I'm like, this guy's pretty sharp and he's got a likability factor that I think really goes a long way for him. So
sharp and likable, just like our guest, Pat Brady. Thanks so much.
I wouldn't go that far.
Pat, always appreciate your insight. Thanks so much.